From Jakks Pacific and the Sonic Prime toy line, this is Black Rose, the pirate version of Amy Rose from No Place. If you've never seen Sonic Prime, basically the Chaos Emeralds get shattered, and there's a multitude of timelines that arrive as a result. There's like a super noir New York City, there is the piratey No Place, there's a jungle planet, just basic stuff for the cartoon. Pretty fun show. This is, of course, one of the many versions of Amy Rose. On the back, you can see we got a picture of the figure, 13 points for articulation. Black Rose is an excellent navigator and fighter who, not so secretly, would rather be bashing in bad guy skulls. We have the same description in a few different languages. You can see we could get Sonic with the purple shoes, Black Rose, Chaos Sonic, which is basically Metal Sonic from the show, and Dr. Deep, one of the many versions of Eggman from the show. Literally the only figure I've picked up from this line that I really enjoyed was Rusty Rose, that being the roboticized version of Amy from Season 1, so I'm kind of hoping Black Rose will also be a decent figure. Well, color me impressed, I actually really like this Amy. The costume is actually really cool. Like I said, this is supposed to be from a pirate universe. You can see that we have the one ear covered up by a bandana. You got just various kind of piratey outfit flares like the jacket, boots, gloves. All of it looks pretty solid, but then of course it is still just Amy. This toy line is basically just Sonic characters LARPing when you really think about it, but you do get a decent looking figure out of it as a result. Taking a closer look at the figure, and this is a decent likeness to Amy. You got good sculpted detail, like quills kind of around the brow. Nothing too spectacular, but nice for a Sonic figure. Details that we wouldn't normally get out of a normal Amy. Kind of strange to see it on this type of Amy, but hey, budgets be budgets. You also do get a fairly decent set of articulations. You have a ball joint at the head, universal at the shoulder. You have an elbow joint that is very weird, but it does work. You have a ball joint at the wrist, nothing at the waist, but you do have a universal at the hip that is a bit tight, a knee that also works but is a little tight, and then a little bit of a ball joint at the boot, but it is somewhat impaired by the cuff of the boot. What that means is you can get a few poses out of Amy, but not many. There's points of articulation here, don't get me wrong, 13. It's just the design is so, bulbous, that it's actually hard to get them in many poses. There's also no doubt in my head this figure could have really used a sword or some type of accessory. The figure is nice, but especially with these big open hands, it would have been nice to give Amy something. The posing just doesn't really work, especially not when you can't get them into a good fighting pose. A sword probably would have helped. Even with all that said, this really is a decent Amy Rose figure. It's probably as good as Rusty Rose, just in a few different directions. My one complaint is, again, I would have liked an accessory, but overall, a good figure from the Sonic Prime toy line, which, let's be honest, is a toy line that has been hit or miss, if we're being nice.